And everyone's up to start the show. See, I fooled you guys. I said it was just going to be me, and I left you guys up. How do you like that? That's how I get you.
It's sneaky.
Now, we got the whole gang here. The vinyl pundits are back. This is the vinyl collection. Looking through the record shelves. This is episode 10. We're in double-digit territory now, so this is wild stuff. What is this? If you're the first time showing up for this, this started with me going through my record shelves, seeing what's in there, opening up the records, seeing if there's any fun stuff in there, any old grass from the 70s, whatever. And then these guys started chiming in saying, hey, I'd like to show off some stuff. I'm like, yeah, great idea. Come on in. So the vinyl pundits started showing up. Experts in vinyl land, record collection gods. And they started showing their extremely minty and beautiful collection, highly curated stuff. Makes my stuff look very humble, to say the least. But I soldier on, and I'm going to show you every single piece of vinyl that's in the collection, good or bad, for better or for worse. That's the joy of the show, and that's what my commitment to you guys, the viewers, to the subscribers. If you're a new subscriber, thanks so much for joining us. Much appreciate all the new subscribers that have come on. I hope you're taking part in the show and going to check it out. I know the channel has kind of turned into a little bit of a Bob Dylan channel recently, but it has a little bit of everything. There'll be a little bit of everything. I do, pickups, thrifting stuff and music stuff. And the podcast, STC Pod, is also on here weekly, and it's a live show as well. So it's worthwhile to hit that subscribe button. Other than that, the chat is live. You can come in the chat, have some words. We'll talk to you in the chat. Also, the link to get on the show as a caller is also in the top of the chat. So you can click on that. And if you have earbuds with your phone or whatever, you're in the show. You can say hi, and then we'll kick you off. It's no big deal. No big whoop. We have some pretty impressive callers in the past. So, it's pretty cool. Look for that in the chat. Also want to thank Techno Dork, who's been in the chat I think for an hour so far, waiting for us. You guys didn't know we had groupies, but we have groupies. He's been waiting. He's the first at the stage in the general admission line. So yeah. Last week I started, I was very sensitive to the situation, and I tried to play a YouTube clip of an old folk song to gather the people together. And of course, YouTube totally screwed me on that. And it was silent for the whole thing. So that looked terrible and was embarrassing. So today we're all going to sing a song together.
Oh,
and,
are we?
No, I'm just joking.
Oh man, I've been waiting so long to hear you sing.
Man, I would pay money.
I hear a lot of talk.
The connection is very, it just wouldn't work out good. So we'll have to put that on pause. We'll put one in the can for later. Actually, I did try and record a song last week, but I can't get the audio right. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Anyways, that's neither here or there. Welcome to the vinyl collection. We'll kick things off. I like to start with something vinyl related, not necessarily record. And let me start. I'll start. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should introduce you guys first. I had you up there. I kind of forgot to introduce you. The vinyl pundits, the experts in vinyl tree. First off, we got Kevin from Buried on Mars. He's the Retro Fandango Podcast, Film Dango, all kinds of stuff. You know what's happening with him. Major figure in the Blu-ray collection community. Don't forget to check that out on his YouTube channel. How's it going, Kevin?
Grew to number one in the Blu-ray community in less than a month. It's
shot right up there.
Yeah.
Shot right up there.
Yeah.
Check out his Gone Girl box opening.
There was stuff in that one. That one was
incredible.
There was stuff in there.
If you see him with a steel book, tune into that. It'll be amazing.
There's never anything in those stupid steel books. I'm like Charlie Brown with the football. I think there's going to be something in it that time. Open it.
And yet you still publish the video, which is like kudos for you.
Why not? I need the content, right? Hey, look,
it's like the Geraldo Rivera Al Capone reveal.
I'm pretty sure Bill mentioned that a few times in the comments.
Good.
But the last one, there's some spicy comments on my last Steelbook one.
Wow.
People love those.
Yeah.
Love the Steelbooks.
You got to check out the comments on his latest video. It was a good row. I loved it.
Good times.
Also with us, as usual, is Big Bandy. Matt Bandy is here. So it's exciting to see him. He's got a brand new background for us to feast our eyes on. Hey, Matt Bandy.
How you doing, Bill?
Good.
Did you ever think you get 10 episodes deep into this thing?
No, I didn't think so. But it's fun, right? It's turning into like a show instead of just a collection video. It's good times. 10, yeah. If you notice, I didn't change the thumbnail from last week, though. We get it. And I like Kevin's beard.
You pulled a Rambox.
Yeah.
Just give up on the thumbnails.
You got 9 new thumbnails. That's it. And we have Jake from the famous Polykill Podcast. How's it going, Jake?
It's hot. It's my transition from the yurt to the basement.
Right. Hey, anyone, feel free to take your shirts off. That's all fine. It's all part of the show. Right. Is it hot enough for you guys yet to shave your beards, though?
Never.
Yeah, never. I'm with you
Never.
there.
That's never going to happen.
Good. Big hello to the guys in the chat. We got Cat Max Gaming, Steven Eider showing up, Derek from Two Dorks. Who else? Oh, Deke is here. Famous Deke.
Deke. Very good.
He's back. Very
nice.
Jake took last week off, and Deke said, I ain't tuning in. No Jake, no Deke.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm bringing the celebrity viewers. Okay. Good to know my place.
All right. Enough of this. Let's get started. I was going to show something that's not quite a record, but related. And
butt related.
You beat me to it.
I like my butt related stuff. So
I have a couple of these platter doilies to show off. Has anyone got these for their platters?
I do.
I have one.
yeah,
This is like a felt one.
But
Yeah,
I never bought one.
What is that from?
This one came from, as you guys know, I'm a member of Third Man Records, the Vault vinyl vinyl collection, quarterly collection club. And this was part of the Raconteur's Help Me Stranger package was this. So that's cool. That was in there. And Kevin said he's never actually purchased one, but I actually purchased one. This was also from Third Man Records. And you had to be a member of the Vault to get in this special store to get this one. But I just thought it looked really awesome. So I grabbed this one. And I think it was only like $10 or something. And I was shipping something anyways. So
yeah, might as well.
Yeah. It's weird. Even though this one is a purchase one, it's actually a little bit thinner than the one I got for free. So, but I do like the Third Man Records graphics.
Yeah, it's nice.
So that's my couple special things. And later we can talk that I did do some homework that you guys left me. I did listen to some stuff, so we'll get to that a bit later. But I want to start with the guy who took the week off last week and see what Jake brought for us. Because
you're going to put me on the spot.
Man, you played some stuff on Twitter. What was it, today or yesterday?
Oh, the Nazi Schweinjäger? Yeah.
Woof.
Nazi pig hunters? Yeah. Black and Death Noise band from Nuremberg. So they got a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll lead off with something fun. This is Cattle Decapitation's Death Atlas.
Okay.
Rolls off the tongue.
It does. These guys are sort of the poster boys for misanthropic vegan death grind. That's a genre.
What?
Yeah, so that's where the name Cattle Decapitation comes from. Basically, they're sort of like a animal rights activist extreme metal band. And basically all their songs are about just how shittily the human race has treated the earth. They've got a long storied career. Their vocalist, Travis Ryan, is probably the most versatile guy in that space. One of the most talented vocalists I've ever heard in terms of just he can do like anything metal related, he can do it. He can do like soaring melodic stuff. He can do growls. He can do the raspy stuff. He's just all over the map. He's crazy good. This one came out last year, and I got a nice vomit splatter. You can see that on clear vinyl. It's a double LP. One of my favorite records. It may have been my favorite metal record last year.
That was a double LP?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
how long does that clock in at?
I mean, it's not really. It's a double disc. It's not really a double LP, if that makes sense.
Right.
Four sides. So it's close to an hour, all told. But funny enough, one of the big songs from this record was called "Bring Back the Plague."
Yep.
So that was a little more prophetic than they intended it to be, I think. And they printed up a bunch of like bumper stickers. It was like "Bring Back the Plague 2020," like an election kind of thing. That's probably not going over well too now. But I mean, I love the artwork. I love this band. I'm not full on, vegan, but I appreciate their messaging, and they're just outright detestment of humanity's ills. So I enjoy listening to them. They have fantastic riffs, great bass lines, incredible drumming, everything that you want from your death grind. So it's a good time.
Yeah, I got a chance to see Cattle Decapitation once in Chicago in like 2000. It's probably 2002, 2003.
Okay. Yeah. Crazy good band. And they somehow just kind of keep churning out the good stuff and reinventing themselves. Because like this one was a bit more atmospheric. It had a lot more melodicism than some of their previous stuff. So
yeah, I haven't listened to that record, but I know that got a lot of buzz and a lot of high praise when it came out.
Yeah, it's good. It's solid, really solid. You want me to do another one? You want me to jump in and bring another one to bear?
Yeah, keep going. I'm a little upset that I got to put away my Decapitated Cattle record. But
yeah, you're going to show the same one, right?
Forward down ahead.
So we'll shift to something a little different. I don't know if you guys have heard of Oceans of Slumber. Matt, have you heard of them?
No, I'm not familiar with that band at all.
Okay, so this is an actually really unique band in the metal space, because they're sort of like this progressive metal, but not like overly proggy, if that makes sense, because their songs are big. I mean, it's almost like maybe like Nick Cave meets Cynic or something like that. It's like sort of deep melancholic stuff. The vocalist, she has like a soulful voice. So it's almost like Billie Holiday against blast beats. It's really interesting. And this is their debut. It's my favorite of theirs. They put out one since, and they've got another one coming out this year. They seem to be straying a little bit from what I loved about them, which was sort of like that juxtaposition of like really furious riffing, blast beats, but just sort of like, again, against her soulful, soaring vocals. But now they it's all kind of just becoming all big, which isn't what I like necessarily. But this is a cool pressing. It's got a nice sort of beer color, I think is what they called it. It is a double discer, but it's only 3 sides. So the 4th side has a pretty cool, nothing super fancy, but some little cool stuff on the back. Yeah, I mean, this band is one that I would honestly recommend for a lot of people who kind of want to dabble in a slightly more extreme version of metal. But like, there's a lot of handholds here. Like, you can check out, they did a cover of a Moody Blues song, and it escapes me which one they did.
Nights in White Satin?
Yes, it actually was that one, of all the ones to forget.
That's the big one.
Yeah, of all the ones to forget. But they did a cover of that. There's a song called Winter, which is the title track off of this. Just really easy to get a hold of. Really cool sound. There's nothing else quite like Oceans of Slumber. And they're just, they seem to be really cool people. When I ordered this, I actually got it from the singer's home address. So they're pretty cool people.
Was that a self-release, or who put that out?
The first one was independent, but then, and I think no, this one wasn't. Their debut EP was. I think they're on Century Media.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they got signed to a pretty big outfit, at least in that space. But yeah, I don't think I had mentioned them before, so just thought I would bring them up because they're just different, and I like different, so big fan.
Very neat. Yeah, cool. Different is cool.
Different is cool.
So, Matt Bandy, what do you have to contrast that?
Well, I'm gonna stick with your tradition of showing something music related and vinyl adjacent. This is a book that I'm going to be showing here. This is a book called Defenders of the Faith by Peter Best, not the Fifth Beatle. But he's done a few books. He's a photographer, so this is all photographs. But this book details the kind of the culture of heavy metal vests, and most of the pictures in the book are from a festival called Keep It True, which is, I believe, it's in Greece, but it's definitely somewhere in Europe. But it is all. Let me get some. Hang on here. So it's all pictures of mostly some vintage and some current heavy metal vests and different bands. But God, if I could, yeah. So the main focus of the book is
Nice.
the vests here, and yeah, I'm a fan of the heavy metal vest, or the battle vest, if you will, and yeah, it's just I could look through this thing for hours and find something different every time. And there's a little bit of a write up on a little bit of the history of kind of where the vest originated and why it was kind of part of the heavy metal culture. And and they talk about, and some different people are interviewed, but there's a lot of hand painted back patches, and it's just so cool to peruse through. And this guy's photography is awesome. A lot of the live shots in here are cool, but yeah, and every person that's in the vest or in the magazine or in the book, they're credited and says where the picture was taken and whose vest it is. And yeah, this is a cool book, so I thought I'd show that off. It's still available right now, and he did he's probably most famous for his book called True Norwegian Black Metal, where he took a lot of the pictures of some of the Norwegian black metal scene in the mid 2000s. But yeah, he takes a lot of pictures from mostly heavy metal bands, and yeah, it's cool stuff.
I never considered someone would make a book about metal vests.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is your vest in there, Matt Bandy?
My vest is not in the book, no.
What's your ratio of bedazzlement to patches on your vest?
You want to see it?
Yes.
There we go.
Absolutely.
All right, so this is one of my vests here.
One.
Yeah. So this is probably one of my older ones.
My goodness.
So this is the front, and I hand drew these guys on the inside. Because when you run out of room, in the back, you got to go inside the vest here. Dang it! There we go.
Wow.
So I got a little Man of War Slayer and Anthrax. And then on the back, I'm not too much bedazzlement. It'll come some studs on the top there and on the bottom. But yeah.
Yes. Was that Wolves in the Throne Room?
Where at?
Okay, no, never mind.
No, this is a Dark Throne.
Yeah, it was a little wrinkled, and I was hopeful, but I get it.
Yeah.
Man.
So yeah, everything on here is hand sewn by me. And
I was gonna say, it's tough to sew through patches, man.
yeah, especially some heavier denim when you get down into the bottom here.
Yeah.
You draw blood every once in a while, but that's part of it. It's fun.
Bandy's got metal thimbles too. Thimbles.
I do have
metal thimble.
I do have one metal thimble that comes in handy.
I bet.
Yeah, if you ever need something sewed, talk to a punk rock kid or a heavy metal kid, they can set you up.
I love it. I love it because Kevin gets to follow that.
Oh, all the time, eh?
Let's do your best, Kev.
And you know, like I noticed that Bill goes after me, so like I'm the one that has to come in and fill that. Well, if I could plug a music-related product, for like not all of us have luxury SUVs that they can drive around in, that has like a super sound system and all the hookups and everything. Some of us just have a cigarette lighter, you know, and that's it. So
you mean a power port?
I have a cigarette lighter. So what this little handy device does is it plugs into your cigarette lighter and it gives you a couple of USB outputs. And then this sucker here, you can put in a USB, you can put in a mini SD card in there, and you can play your music off of this FM transmitter and it'll play through your radio.
Wow.
Nice.
We had those in the 2000s, I believe. We had to use those.
Well, not like this. It wasn't good like this.
No USB action.
Didn't have a mini USB. It didn't have that, and it also does Bluetooth, so you can have your car can have a Bluetooth, so you can take in calls on that, and it also has an auxiliary port on it, so you can plug in your phone to it if you want to listen to music, or you can't play music through the Bluetooth, but it doesn't sound that great.
That's a lot of options. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, the cards are limited. You can only it's 32 gigs, but you can still fit a lot of FLAC files on the 32 gigs. So yeah, this is Sarah's. This one only plays MP3s, but the one I got plays FLAC files.
Fancy. What do those go for nowadays?
This was $30. So I didn't think that was too bad.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, ship. You know. Okay, so. Back to the. I hope everyone's not bored with the AC/DC collection. I know
Not at all.
It's not as intricate as the metal stuff, but I think we left off with for those about to rock. We salute you, and so AC/DC followed that album up with "Flick of the Switch," very understated cover, if you will. So this was the time like where they kind of wanted to. They were very anti everything that was MTV. They didn't really want to be one of those hair metal bands, you know, with the very slick sound and all that. So they put out this record, and it's very gritty. This is the first album that they decided to produce themselves. They dropped Mutt Lange as a producer. They kind of were not getting along with him on the last album, but. It's a bit of a mix. Here's the inside. This one's a 2003 reissue. Every time I've run across an original, because it didn't sell that well, so there's a lot of copies out there. But it's always like, you know, a little more than $20. So, and that's not how much I want to spend for an old album. So, yeah, it's got a nice. It's what's that word? Beveled. You can feel
embossed.
It. Yeah, that's it. It's embossed. I like.
I didn't know that album had an embossed cover.
Well, this one does, and it's pretty cool.
Were there any singles off of that?
Okay, so yeah, no.
I don't think I've ever listened to that record.
Oh well, you know what, Matt Bandy, you would probably really enjoy this one because I would say this is their heaviest album that they ever did. At least with Brian Johnson. Mm-hmm. Because they just went for it. They recorded the album in a very short amount of time. It was like within a month. I know Deke loves it. It's one of his favorites. And it's just it's a very raw sounding album. It's not polished at all. You know, like I said, they mixed it themselves when they got to the end of their recording session. They couldn't get the vocals right, so Brian Johnson actually had to re-record all of the vocals again when they brought in their brother George Young to help them out, to help them with the vocals. And so Brian Johnson's voice is very strained because he just finished recording the album, and apparently they did a bunch of rehearsing, and then they had to go and re-record the whole thing again. But it's a fun album. There are no hits on it. Like Flick of the Switch might be the biggest song.
Yeah, I like that title track.
Yeah, that one's good. Guns for Hire is one that they opened all their shows to promote this album. They opened with Guns for Hire, and it's a good song. And a lot of people actually have this theory that this album is backwards because they opened their show with Guns for Hire and it starts side B, and a lot of people say that this is actually side 1 and this is side 2. But the nice thing on vinyl is you can listen to it that way if you want. You can just fire up side B, and I've done that, and I kind of agree. It is a better album. It flows a little better when you play it that way. You wouldn't think it would matter that much, but it actually does. So I really enjoy that album. It's one of my favorites.
What year did you say that was from?
That was 83. So that followed up For Those About to Rock. And it's like Deke says there, for Brian Johnson era, it's probably the best album outside of Back in Black that they did with Brian Johnson, I think. But yeah, very raw, and there's not a lot of polish on it, but it's good times. Okay, so next up is Fly on the Wall. This is an original from 1984 or 85. 85. I wish I paid only $5.99 for it. But I paid that much for it. The one thing about this album is a lot of people say is the best thing about it is the cover.
Okay.
It's not their best album. It just needs a remix. So this was another one that they did. They mixed it on their own. And they were very anti, hair bands, Bon Jovi, all that stuff. They just did not want to be any part. They wanted to be the rock and roll band. And so they would record these albums that were very raw, and there wasn't a lot of production. This one, I think they just kind of messed it up because Brian Johnson's vocals are very buried. And a lot of people say that's because Brian Johnson's vocals were starting to slip. And that's why the brothers buried the vocals in there a little bit. But it's not true, because there is a remix on the next album, one of the songs, and he sounds absolutely fine. So I wish that this entire album would get a remix. But the biggest songs on here are Shake Your Foundations, Sink the Paint. Yeah. Those were kind of sort of hits, kind of. But on the inside, this is your original. That's all you got. And then you got lyrics. I think this is only his second album of AC/DC's where he actually got lyrics. And then because I wanted to preserve that, I put it in another sleeve because that's
smart, man.
Go. And again, we got that Atlantic label on it on the inside there.
Sweet.
So, Bill, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
It's just so weird with all the different Atlantic record like labels. Usually, that when you see that label, that seems like kind of more of their older like soul stuff. Whenever I see their soul stuff that Atlantic would put out, you'd have that label on the center, and then some of the rock and roll stuff you more of like with the green and orange. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know why it is that way, but it is. Okay, and I think, what did I show? How many? 2? Should I show one more, or is that good?
We can move on.
Okay.
Bill's camera producer over there.
Hey, man, whatever.
No, Deke agrees with you that Flick the Switch was the best Brian Johnson era AC/DC.
Yeah, I need to check that out.
I can't say it's better than Back in Black myself. But outside of Back in Black, I would say it's my favorite Brian Johnson album. It's not for everybody, because again, it doesn't have any like hits on it. It's not a poppy album like the Mutt Lange stuff. But if you just want a good hard rock, just hard rock, not heavy metal, not pop rock. It's just straight up hard rock.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, before I show off any records, let's get to this homework, because I actually listened to some stuff the boys told me to listen to. One of you guys told me to listen to a country guy named Jason Isbell.
Yeah.
That was Jake. That was
me.
Okay. I checked out, I don't think many of his albums were on YouTube, but some of his live stuff was. And he had a Austin City Limits had a clip up. He did a song called Danko and Manuel about the boys from the band. I thought that was pretty cool. And then I wrote slide guitar underneath that. I don't know what it means. It must have been good slide guitar.
Yes, yeah, that seems right.
For me, he gets a little bit too close to the modern country sound to me. Some of the stuff I heard, which was kind of turning me off. But I bet if he was like put into the right hands, the right producer, that guy could really blossom into something. In my fantasy mind, I think there's an evil producer guiding him towards the money of modern country, and that's why he's kind of sounding like that to me. However, great musician, great guitar work. He was playing on, I think, on this track, and he was singing and playing. And while he was singing, he went over to his pedal board, turned his guitar off, switched it over to the tuner, tuned a string, and then turned his guitar back on, all while singing. Like that's
He's a pro.
That is crazy to have that many things going on and to concentrate on your singing. That was something. And then I listened to some Electric Citizen. Who was that? Bandy? Did you tell me about that?
That was me.
Yeah. Okay. And the first, was it called Satine?
Yeah, Satine.
I was working overnights. My notes. They sounded immediately Black Sabbath, apparently, to me. Big groove. Black Sabbath groove, big time is what I wrote. But then, I remember this, it like switched to a Doorsy sound and like Jefferson Airplane sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was like very that San Francisco psychedelic sound going on. So I enjoyed it.
Good.
And then Murder City Devils, I was really
Devils.
curious about. Yeah, because you were going on about that. What the hell did I write here? Press Gang? Does that make
Press
sense?
Gang. That's a record. The Press Gang.
Okay. That's what I listened to.
Yeah.
I wrote Cool Organ.
Uh-huh.
And then, you know what? As I was listening to it, I was going, why does this guy sound so familiar to me? And his vocal stylings, it clicked in. I don't know if you'll agree with me, but it's like Jack White, just gruff. Okay. It's the same kind of styling as Jack White, just gruff. And that was very familiar to me. And I watched, the band did a live show, a live radio show. I don't know, a college radio show or something. But there's about a 40-minute concert on YouTube if you want to check that out. And it was very entertaining. And they have an interview in between the songs. So it was.
Sweet.
Did you like it though?
I did, yeah.
Nice, awesome.
Yep. There wasn't much like official stuff that I could find on YouTube. I just listened to a live show and that press one, I guess.
Mm-hmm. There's a cool video. I'm not sure if it's on YouTube or not, but they did I think maybe just one or two dates with Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam liked the band and they brought them out on tour as like the opening supporting act. And there's a cool, they do a cover of a song by the Dead Boys. And it's Eddie Vedder and him singing on stage together. It's pretty cool.
I feel like I've seen
Yeah.
I really like the organ. That's
yeah. And that was the album before that was kind of where they introduced that into the band. And then the Press Gang record is really kind of where it took a lot more of their sound. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so that's all I got to this week. But I'm still on overnights this coming week, so hopefully we'll get some more stuff in. I still have, what is Wind Hand something?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Richmond, Virginia, represent.
Right on.
I talked about Wind Hand last
and
last episode.
All right, so let's let me get a record out here. Did you see my big promotional tease on social media today?
I saw it.
What you could be looking at is a $10,000 record or many $1,000 record. And it's just a common LP from David Bowie, or as the Brits call him, Bowie.
David Bowie.
So this is just a compilation album from 74, I guess 76. I think this is an original pressing, although it should have had a sticker on here somewhere saying greatest hits record.
That's a great entry record for someone who's never listened to David Bowie. If you want to, that's a perfect.
Oof, yeah, for sure. Do you guys know why this record could be worth a ton of money?
No clue.
Where did you look that up on?
This is just what I know because I'm a record collector.
Okay. Did you look at it on Discogs?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't go to Discogs very often. I should change that and do it, but
you'll spend money, so don't.
It's
You're talking to the wrong guy for spending money.
It's a good way to.
Fair point.
It's a good way to catalog your collection too.
It is.
Yeah, I definitely should do that. It's the second song, John, I'm Only Dancing. In the UK pressing of this, the first 1,000 copies had a saxophone version of that song. It's called the sax version. And only the first 1,000 got that, and there's no difference that you can tell. You can tell by the matrix in the dead wax. And I think someone said, actually, if this says RCA up here, it's a good chance it's one of the 1,000. So only 1,000 of those got out. So that's why if you have that one, it's worth a little bit extra. And so it's a UK pressing.
And
this
does it have the saxophone song on it?
Yeah, so you got to listen to it to see if it is.
Did you listen to it?
That's what we're driving
out. Did you find out? Did you listen to it?
No, this is a compilation. I already got these elsewhere that I like. So
he doesn't have it. So it's worth $1.50.
Right.
This is printed in the USA. Gotcha. So I'll break the suspense for you. Are you guys still betting on the interiors of my albums?
I'm going to say sleeve for that one.
I just go sleeveless.
It looks in too good of a shape.
Yes.
Dang it.
Sun's out, guns out.
That's an RCA label and a little bit of schmaltz on here. So
some space dust.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the early Bowie, not the later Bowie. So, but I can give you guys a tip if you are shopping for David Bowie stuff. Another one that's worth a ton of dough is Diamond Dog's record. If the cover has a dog with its genitalia, it's kind of airbrushed out. However, when they originally published it, it was all out there for the world to see. And they immediately halted that run and destroyed all copies where you could see the dog's business. But however, some of them got out there. So that would be worth something.
That's the Red Rocket version.
Gross.
And I have this Bowie as well. But like I said, this is later. So this really isn't even.
You didn't like the dancey stuff, though, what you're saying.
Yeah.
What is that? What album is that?
I can't tell.
Me either.
It is David Bowie Tonight.
Tonight. Okay.
Let's see what's in here. No wagers this time?
No sleeve.
No sleeve.
God, it's a sleeve.
Bandy's off today.
I am 0 for 2.
Chances are, if they didn't get a lot of play from me, they're going to have a sleeve. So, yeah. David Bowie Tonight. Loving the Alien. Don't Look Down. God Only Knows Tonight.
1984. You won't like it.
Yeah. Good shape. Now we're getting into the goods. And we have Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah. That's my Bowie record.
And this is from that yard sale I told you about before that Kevin made us late to, where the guy put his address on all. I don't know if I told you that story.
I remember that story.
Yeah, I heard it.
There was a time when
it was true.
I got two here, so we got to see what the deal is, why there's two. This is in fine, it's fine shape, a little bit of roughness right here on a little creasing.
Mm-hmm.
And made in Canada, gem production. RCA Victor. Oh, did you guys see that? Sleeve or no sleeve?
No one was paying attention.
I was not looking.
Oh, there you go. Look at you,
Okay.
Mr. Sleeve.
Paper sleeve.
So that means you haven't listened to that one as much.
So this was in really good shape. So this is the good shape one. I wonder if the other one's a bad shape one, and that's why I have two. But I don't know what else is going on with it, if it's any other kind of special edition. That's a gem production. So let's look at the other one. RCA Victor. This one, the cover is got some ring wear, and it looks like there's a name up here.
Yeah, it says David Bowie.
This is a gem production as well. Did you know that Bowie was a huge Kanye West fan? Even back then?
Wow. Who knew?
So second
No
one,
chance. No chance.
no
Yeah,
chance,
there's no sleeve on that one.
no sleeve.
No.
It's my guess.
Oh, look at you. I think you threw in random sleeves into these records. Like
Maybe they came in the mail.
Yeah.
Well, those are still en route.
No, he took the sleeves off of other records and put them on these ones.
There we go.
He's just moving them around.
The vinyl looks well played this time on this record. But let's take a look at the label. I got Victor on here. Remember what the other label is? Let me just grab that quick. Yeah, so they are different.
Okay. Yep,
labels.
yep.
There's something's going on there. Maybe Deke knows what the deal is.
You could easily find out on Discogs.
Discogs. Look up the matrices.
It'll let you know.
Oh, which one did I pull from what now?
Oh, you got that one from the other one.
He got that one from the other one.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Okay.
Trying to be
And finally, my favorite David Bowie album, and this got tons and tons of play. I love this. I love
Same here.
every track on it.
That's
This is
my favorite.
100% brilliant.
That's my favorite Bowie record for sure, hands down.
Yeah. It is amazing.
something else, man.
I love
Because
every
Bob-
minute of this.
Because there's a song about Bob Dylan on it.
It's the Vic 20 music that leads off the Andy Warhol song.
Oh.
Warhol. You remember the Vic 20 music that starts that?
No, don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, here it is, guys. I confess to playing the piss out of this record. So what's your call on the
No,
sleeve or no sleeve?
no sleeve.
I'm going sleeve.
I'm going sleeve too.
I'm just going all no sleeve. Sticking to it.
Kevin.
No,
Look at that.
He just you're just
Just
playing
like you
games
out.
now. You're
Yeah.
just playing games now.
It's mind games,
Yeah.
Bill.
This guy knows how to take care of records. That's all I know.
Oh yeah. You just can't keep cats off of them.
I did have a cat thing with my records at one point. I had a cat, and at one point in one apartment I lived in, I had all my records. Like there was like a breakfast bar kind of situation that threshold the kitchen from the living room kind of thing. And underneath that bar area was all my records. And this freaking cat, someone had left a glass of water on top of that bar, and you know cats love fresh water and they'll do anything to get it, and she tipped over an entire glass of water and it went all down my records. I was flipping out, man. That was
Yeah.
I
I had a cat years ago who used part of my collection as a scratching post. And luckily, it was only a couple records that got just like on the outside of the cover along the spine, just got shredded.
So that's my David Bowie section there. We are still in the B's, though. We'll have more B's when we come back.
Okay.
Move back on to Jake the Barbarian.
Okay. All right. So now for something completely different. I'm going to read this album title because I don't trust myself to repeat it. But this is a band called A Silver Mount Zion. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. But the title of the record is He Has Left Us Alone, But Shafts of Light Sometimes Grace the Corner of Our Rooms.
Post-rock?
It is very post-rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like instrumental, very emotive. It's got some cool like doomsday preacher samples here and there, which I always love. I love hearing that stuff. This is a repress. It's not an original. They don't even really perform under this name now. I think they sort of broke up and then reformed as something else, which I don't even remember. But this is just, it's one of those albums that you put on and you just get lost in it. It's cinematic. And that's a word that's way overused in music, but I'm going to use it in this case because it definitely is. Just a simple black vinyl, but it is 180, so big fan of that. But there's just the reason I love, oddly specific album titles is especially when it comes to instrumental music, you just really get an idea of what the emotion is. And, sometimes it's nice to superimpose what your feelings on the song are, but sometimes it's really nice to get the artist's intent about the music. And this is one of those albums that does that. My favorite one on here, it's not even that long. It's like 4 minutes. They have like a couple 11-minute tracks and stuff on here, but it's called 13 Angels Standing Guard around the side of your bed. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. You can just kind of like I said, get lost in it. And it's music for your soul. It's not for your head or anything like that. It's just stuff to put on when you want to zone out. And highly recommend it. I think it's on Spotify. You can probably find it on YouTube. It's not going to be hard to get because it's several years old at this point.
How does that stuff sound in the headphones?
It's just absorbing. It's incredible. So let me show. This is my most recent pickup. I got that this week, and this is a band called Infant Island. They are actually from about 2 hours away from me, which is pretty cool because I had some friends in Germany, like natives of Germany, raving about this album. So that was pretty cool to get that. But this is a record called Beneath. It's actually the second pressing, and this album came out like 3 weeks ago. So they're selling pretty quick. It's got nice sleeve, got some song stuff. Style-wise, this is it's got a really interesting juxtaposition of screamo or like scrams if you're like into the scene, which is sort of more the old school style of screamo, but with like really big atmosphere and really big like post-rock elements. So it's really big, but like the vocals are just kind of that top of the range shrieky stuff that just feels super impassioned and feels super emotional, hence the name. But it's a nice translucent blue pressing. The first pressing was a little prettier, but I'm not mad at this blue. But I ordered this from the guys on one of those Bandcamp days where all the proceeds go to the band. And then got it this week with a little note that said, sorry, it's late. They ran out of boxes because it came from the singer's house. So that's, independent release. So support independent music, etc. Big fan.
Yeah.
I'll do one more and we'll go back to something weird. This is Lingua Ignota, and that's kind of her stage name. Her actual name is Kristen Hayter. This record is called All Bitches Die. This is some of the most extreme music you'll listen to without it actually being metal, because it's not in the slightest bit metal. But again, it's one of those things where like the metal community sort of embraced her because the music is hard to categorize. It is extreme. It is exhausting to listen to. And this, like the music she does is just, it's pain. It's just straight up pain on wax. Specifically for I Am the Light. Whew, that song, it gives me chills every time I hear it. It's basically, she has like personally been through a lot of abuses as a woman in different relationships, society, etc. Very raw, very real, very just deep anger, frustration. But like the music is not fast at all. It's very, very deep and kind of slow moving stuff. I don't really have a good comparison. She's kind of a unique entity.
Does she have another record called California?
Caligula. She put out last year. It wasn't quite as like, that one was a little more mellow than this one, in my opinion.
Was she on the cover of that with like it's just a picture
Tattoos.
of her?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tattoos,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that got a lot of buzz in the metal press again because it was a very salient record in terms of like social issues, but also just an incredible album to begin with. But she's got just a lot of pent up anger that comes out. Nice, cool, clear vinyl with some pink on the inside. But yeah, there's a lot to what she does. It's not for everybody, but I think it's pretty important stuff. This actually got her signed to Profound Lore. So this was a re-release on Profound Lore, and then she's been there ever since. But she is a force of nature, a genuine force of nature. It's not easy listening music, but it's something worth experiencing if you're up for it.
Not easy listening music.
Not in the slightest.
I want a radio station to use that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Wow. Okay. I just got a question because you guys always make me feel old and out of the loop. What the hell is post-rock?
Yeah, honestly, an easy way to say what post-rock is it's usually it's instrumental. There's a few cases where it's not. Bands like Sigur Rós, I don't know if you're familiar with them, from Iceland. They have a lot of vocals, but they made up their own language to sing in. Post-rock is like...
They've been on your boys' show before, Conesy's. That's when I first heard Sigur Rós.
Really?
A long time ago. Yeah, they were on Conan O'Brien.
Yeah. But yeah, post-rock is sort of like, it's more atmospheric in nature. The edge of like the rock and roll is sort of taken off, and it's not about fast drum beats, tasty licks, and riffs. It's more about atmosphere and...
more avant-garde.
Yeah, it can be, but it's not like...
Progression of...
difficult. Yeah, it's not extremely difficult music. It's actually pretty mellow in most cases.
Okay. Well, this the Third Man Records have been pushing this guy. He just put out a release where he's a pedal steel player, and it's all weirdo, like mystical sounds, no lyrics or anything, just kind of a vibe record, and it was pretty wild. So that, in my mind, that's kind of clicking into how you're describing.
Yeah, you can make the comparison. Yeah, post-rock's definitely more about the feeling and sort of a mellower vibe than traditional rock and roll.
All right, cool. So, Matt Bandy, what do you got? Yeah,
so all my pickups this week are going to be exclusive to the show here. No one's seen them yet. I haven't even opened two of them.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So last week, my local record store reopened after months of being shut down. Stores are starting to reopen in my area here. But I went on their Discogs page and on their website and placed an order, and I picked it up. Hey Jake, how you doing? Good to see you there, buddy.
Who is switching this show? They gotta be fired.
Produce, Bill, produce.
Let me put Kevin up next.
So
that's
I
called
went
playing the piano in our business.
I went there on Saturday and picked up my stuff, and this is the name of my local shop here, Booba Records. located in San Luis Obispo, California. BoobaRecords.com.
Love it.
So I don't know what order these are in here. I'm just going to pull them out here one by one and see how we go. Okay. So first one on the list here is by a Finnish doom metal band who is no longer a band, but was a huge influence on doom metal and kind of getting that back into popularity and inspiring a lot of different bands. This band is, thankfully, some of their stuff is getting a repress because a lot of it's really hard to find and really expensive. So I got this record by Reverend Bizarre, and the name of this record,
that's where my money was. That's awesome.
Yeah, in the rectory of Reverend Bizarre, and this, I'm not sure if this is which album this is in their discography, whether this is their first full length or second full length. They have a few full length records, but they have a lot of like singles and smaller releases that they put out a lot of one-off records that just have maybe one or two songs on them. And thankfully, those are getting a repress. But this has been out of press for quite a while, and I'm hoping that they will repress "Crush the Insects," which is by far my favorite record by them. But this got a nice gatefold here with the band in the center.
Oh, yeah. Look at that sky.
So if you've never listened to Reverend Bizarre before, they play what they call Finnish True Doom, and it is their interpretation of what doom metal should sound like. It is very Sabbath inspired, but it's very very slow and heavy stuff. But it's it's good. Just some lighter notes here.
Who pressed that?
This was done by Svart, I believe.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Svart,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, like those people.
Svart.
Sounds like shirt.
Yeah. So yeah, pick that up. Haven't had a chance to listen to it on vinyl yet, but I've listened to this record before on different services. And let's see. And I also picked up by Nocturnal Poisoning. Was the first album by Zasther, which is a one-man black metal band from the Bay Area, I believe, somewhere in California. But
Okay.
yeah, have you heard this, Jake?
I have not. I'm assuming it's very second wave.
Yes. So this came out, I'm going to say, I'm not sure when this record was released. Nice big gatefold here, but this is atmospheric black metal, heavily inspired by. He takes a lot of inspiration from Burzum, but not so much in the music, but more of like, he did every single thing himself on this record. Like he recorded the vocals, did everything was completely independently done. All the music on this record was played by him. And this is a band I haven't listened to a lot. I've been listening to a lot more recently, and I do really like this record. His latest records are just straight up acoustic music, and he still goes by the name Zather, but this guy is really, really intense and kind of a really interesting guy. This also gets kind of lumped in with the suicidal, depressive black metal subgenre. But yeah, it's a good stuff to kind of just have on in the background and kind of mellow out to. It's heavy, but it's another album that's kind of easy you can put it on and fall asleep to if you want to as well. Vocals are really buried in the mix. But yeah, this is dig this. This is a repressing that Southern Lord did a few years ago. There's an interesting documentary on this guy that's on YouTube that I think Noisy did. They did. It was all about one man black metal.
Okay.
And where they interview him, I forget the guy's name from Leviathan, and I forget the other band, the guy he's from Tasmania. And they interview all three of those guys. And up until then, he'd never really done any interviews, and it's a really interesting watch, even if you're not into the music, just because it's, if you like documentaries and you like music, it's just interesting to see this guy's creative process and kind of where he comes from and what inspires him. And it's it's pretty heavy stuff, but it's a cool listen or cool watch. And then I got, anybody know what this one is? Am I looking at it?
Not yet.
Jethro Tull Warchild.
There you go.
I can read.
I was getting clear.
So this one, for some reason, for years, I kind of passed over this record thinking this was a later release of theirs, like an 80s release. This album looks like it was released in the 80s, right?
Totally.
I would pick it there, yeah, for sure.
So this is from 1975. So this is kind of like right in the middle of their popularity, and I really don't know much about this record other than it has Fungal Jungle and Skating Away, which I know those songs and like those songs. So I don't know anything about the rest of this record and haven't listened to it yet, but I'm looking forward to listening to this record. I don't recognize any of the other tracks on this besides those two, and I'd always assumed this was a late 80s release, but this was from 1974.
Fungal Jungle is a good song.
Yeah, it is a good song. So this isn't minty, but it's used. It's not in bill condition, but it's still it's got a sleeve, so you can buy used records that are still in nice condition there. So looking forward to listening to that. I'm trying to get all of the round out my Jethro Tull collection, and then I picked up this record here, which I am very, very late to the party on this record. I don't know why it took me so long to embrace this, but once I did, and once it clicked for me, I was so sorry that I had not been listening to Dio era Black Sabbath.
Oh, very good.
I don't know why it took me so long to give this a chance and really to listen to it, but this was maybe just a few months ago. Honestly, I was like, it's something, because I'd always liked Dio's solo stuff to an extent, and then I just for some reason re-listened to this, and it totally clicked for me, and I was totally on board, and wish I had embraced this years before. And this is a repress, and from what I looked on, I was surprised that it was on this purple translucent vinyl, and what I looked up the pressing info on Discogs on this, and they said it was an unofficial release. So whatever that means.
Yeah, I'm still stuck in not giving Dio a chance in Sabbath.
Oh, it's built. It's so good, especially the Heaven and Hell song off of this. Start by listening to that, and it's good stuff. And then the last record I picked up was, this might be a surprise. This is definitely a 180. A lot of Domino. That's Domino.
Nice.
I love Fats Domino. That's
me too. And he is, in my opinion, he's very underrated when it comes to the history of rock and roll and of blues music.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And I absolutely love Fats Domino. I listened to, introduced to his stuff pretty early on as a kid. This is my first record of his that I've bought, and it has my favorite Fats Domino song on it, a song called "My Girl Josephine." I don't know if you've familiar with that or heard that song before, but it's got a great shuffle to it, and you want to talk about an earworm, that song will get stuck in my head, and it's so good. And this has the "Walking to Our Lanes," which is a pretty famous, and "Don't Come Knocking."
That's a good one.
But this was on Imperial. This is getting close to bill condition.
It looks,
I got a little split in the side, but
not full easy access, but almost.
It's not. It's getting there. And from what I've found, to find this record in good shape, it does have the sleeve. To find this record in good condition, especially the sleeve or the outside of the record is kind of hard to do. So. This was a little bit pricier on the spectrum for a used record for me, but I would have bought this record alone for that "My Girl Josephine" song had it not had any other track on it. I love that song so much. So yeah, Fats Domino. It's so underrated. He's so underrated, and just good stuff.
Not sure I like what this bill condition hashtag is becoming. People look for that kind of patina on their records. That's what I'm saying. It's character. It tells a story. Allows people to get inside.
It tells a story, all right.
Someone else's story.
Someone else's story.
See, negligence.
There's even a little writing on the back of that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they might have clicked on which ones they liked, and they said this one's short and this one's fast.
Cool. Well, for anyone watching out there, don't forget, if you want to call into the show, don't forget the link is in the chat at the top somewhere. You just click on that link and you can come in and say hi for real. As we've had some pretty big callers, and I'd love to get our biggest caller in right now, but we don't have anyone there yet. So
Really?
God damn it. I just love to sneak in a high caliber guest right before Kevin. But
so hateful.
Oh, I was going to say, you guys talk about the Discogs a lot. This is what I used for the longest time, is the old book, record prices.
Oh.
I've had this for a long time. This is probably out of date for pricing, but it does list 2002, like an extraordinary amount of all the different pressings and releases and values. And you do learn a lot from this. And it's got some colored pictures in there too. But yeah, old school book pricing guides. Wonder if they still make this. I don't know. Okay,
Remember
sorry.
the magazines for baseball cards, the
Beckett's, yeah, I had a ton of those. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I'm keeping everyone waiting. Everyone's waiting for
Yes.
Kevin's next display piece here.
Well, I thought you were stalling for Chris Roberts. I thought for sure. Wait for me to start talking, and Chris Roberts comes in. Uh-huh.
It's all you, man.
Just bring him in. It's all good.
It's all you. There's no callers yet. No.
All right, here we go. Charlie Brown with the football. Okay, so the next album in AC/DC's catalog, some casual people out there might call this a cash grab, but for real fans, we enjoy our Who Made Who. So this is a bit of a soundtrack to Maximum Overdrive. As you can see right there.
It is a soundtrack, right?
That's right. Well, it sort of is. I mean, if you watch the movie, there's a lot of music in there. So AC/DC did the music for Maximum Overdrive. But a lot of the music that they did in the movie is not actually on the album. The album is more or less a quasi greatest hits. I would not call it a cash grab, though.
You get one new tune on it.
You get 3 new tunes, and a taste of. They were songs that were featured in the film. So that's what the album is. The Maximum Overdrive was directed by Stephen King, and Stephen King is a huge AC/DC fan. He quotes them all the time at the beginning of his books a lot.
Was that just a movie, or was that a book too, or is that just a string?
Just a movie.
Screenplay? Okay, that's what I thought.
It's sort of loosely based on one of his short stories, but loosely is the word. So, fun fact for a very young Kevin from the Buried on Mars channel, who had yet to hear any AC/DC. This was his first album, his first AC/DC album.
How old was that little Kevin?
14. And this was like in the early 90s, I would say. So back in the day, if you, I know you young guys don't remember this, but back in the day, if you wanted to hear new music, you actually, if it wasn't played on the radio, if you didn't have a friend that had the album that you could tape or anything, you actually had to go and make the purchase yourself, do a lot of blind buys. MT or Much Music in Canada. I just got the Much Music channel. My parents were like the last, like my TV went up to channel 13 and that was it. And then they finally got a VCR that went up to channel 26, but Much Music in Sudbury was on channel 27. By 1994, we finally got a TV that could tune into channel 27, or maybe it was like 92 or something like that. So I was finally exposed to music that was on there. And it was funny because I always heard about the show, The Power Hour, which was our metal show, heavy metal show in Canada. And, people every week, they'll talk about the Power Hour and the bands that were featured on the Power Hour. And I never got to see the Power Hour. So when we finally got it and I got to watch the Power Hour, I saw one episode, and then next week they cut it down to half an hour to the Power 30 because at the time heavy metal was going out the window. Kurt Cobain and the grunge stuff was all taking over. But you still would. Oh, is everyone okay?
That's it.
Right.
I just slapped my laptop by accident.
Okay, I don't blame you. This is so compelling.
No, keep going. I like this.
So, but they would play some stuff on that Power Hour and some other, and that's what the first time I really heard the song "You Shook Me All Night Long." It was, kind of, you would hear like bits and pieces of it all the time. This is the first time like I saw the band and they were rocking out and all that. I'm like, man, that's a really good song. I want that. So I went to the record store. That's what we had back in the day to buy records, and all you could get at the time was CDs or cassettes, and I only had money for cassettes. CDs were way too expensive, and I didn't have a CD player. We only had a ghetto blaster. So I'm flipping through all the cassettes, and I'm looking for the song "You Shook Me All Night Long." And the song was on 2 albums. It was on an album called Back in Black and Who Made Who. And I didn't know which one to choose. So, but I ended up choosing Who Made Who because
the cooler cover.
The cover looks so cool. And that's it. That's my tape from back in the day.
Oh,
nice.
And the one thing I always liked about this tape, because I guess it's in the era where tape was like a really part of the, like it was a real solid format at the time. Mm-hmm. They completely changed like how it's laid out and everything, right? Like a lot of times you would just get like a cut off and the tape would be right. This they actually like redesigned the cover so it would look cool on a tape. And this was my tape. I listened to it over and over again. Has the Warner Brothers logo on there.
Oh heck yeah.
It's legit. And it's, I don't know if you could see it, but yeah, look how worn out that puppy is.
Yeah, buddy.
That got some major play for me over and over again. And this was my gateway drug into the band. I couldn't understand, like there's one Bon Scott song on here, Ride On. I couldn't understand why the singer sounded totally different in that one song. And you couldn't look up the stuff online yet, like it was still just a year or so away. So that was my very first cassette, and that's one of the very few that I've kept.
That's cool.
So anyways, about the album Who Made Who, though, it's actually, this was like like in the 80s, it was a bit of, even though they were at their commercial peak, the albums that they were putting out was kind of considered the dark times. Like the previous 2 albums, they weren't even though I really like Flick of the Switch, it didn't have a really big hit on it, and A Fly on the Wall, they really embraced MTV at that point because their record sales were slumping so bad. They actually put out a video cassette of a bunch of videos. They actually made videos for it. It wasn't just live footage. Like on Flick of the Switch, they just recorded videos in a hangar somewhere where they were rehearsing. I just threw a camera on, didn't treat it seriously. So Fly on the Wall, they actually did this whole production and everything like that. And it actually helped their album sales a little bit. So for Who Made Who, they went all out. They got a producer, the old producers, Henry Vonda and George Young, produced Who Made Who and the couple of the instrumental tracks on here, and they did a whole video and all that. And this kind of revived the band. I always loved Malcolm Young on the back there. That guy was just the coolest. That was my guy right there.
Rock stance.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how many broomsticks I held to pose, you know, but yeah, that was that was a big hit. Who Made Who was a big hit. So then for the next album, they did do the videos and that, and it was it was a solid hit. Like it sold fairly well, but I've never enjoyed it. I think it's their worst album, and it's the reason why I only have it on CD. And it's Blow Up Your Video. Very, very cool cover. You know, like you got Angus busting through the TV. Again, they wanted to be anti-MTV, but they had to embrace it in order, and they really hated it. You know, they hated the fact that they had to make videos and that. But I really like the cover, and I loved how the back is like the back of the TV, and Angus is busting through. I always thought that was really cool. But the songs on here, for me, it's just not.
I never saw the back of that. I only had it on cassette, and they didn't show that before.
Yeah, that's the back. It's on the vinyl as well.
Heat
but I
Seeker, I love that.
Heat Seeker and That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll. Those are the two really good songs on here. But you can get it on, if you get the double live AC/DC album, they actually do live versions of those songs, and they're better. They're actually better versions of these two songs. I think Rough Stuff. Yeah, I think that's the other one that's pretty good. That's another good one. But the rest of it, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if they were burnt out or what. They did have their Henry Vonda and George Young did produce this one. I don't know, but it just never really sounded, I don't know. It's not very good. Not their best, in my opinion. But the best is still to come. I got more. Depending if we get to it in this episode or not.
Well, I got to applaud Big Bandying that Who Made Who album. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah,
oh, you like that?
Yeah.
full Mars.
I went full Bandy.
Half an hour on Who Made Who? Who'd have thought?
No, it wasn't a half hour. No. It was 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
You're right, though. If they were to have an actual soundtrack of that movie, because they did that stuff in the score, like
there was tons of it. Yeah,
just them riffing like for the score. That would be a cool soundtrack.
Yeah,
I wonder if anyone's done a bootleg of that.
People have put together things, but it sounds very. It's not like you don't have the complete recordings, right? And it's like they're just taking stuff from the movie. So you got sound effects from the movie and that. So it doesn't really. It's not a true music score. It would be nice if they would put something out like that at some point, but according to them, they don't have any of that stuff. They just like Angus says he just kind of like they were just kind of in the studio and they would show them clips of the movie and they weren't even sure what was happening and they would just play music to whatever they would see, you know, and then, like, you know, we never thought to keep any of it or anything like that.
You want me to score when this hand mixer comes alive and choose this guy's arm?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and they like, I mean, that movie was a complete mess, right? Stephen King was a writer as the director. He had no idea what he was doing. AC/DC was a rock band. They're scoring this movie. They had no idea what they were doing. Nobody seemed to know what they were doing in that movie. But
was that the one with Emilio Estevez?
Is he in that?
Or am I getting that? I get that. Maybe are there cars in this one?
There's definitely cars in it. So what happens in the movie is some sort of alien or a meteor comes too close to Earth, and all the machines on the planet come alive and start killing everyone. So that includes trucks and soda pop machines and blenders. Everything just comes alive. It's like
which made no sense. Made
No,
no
it doesn't.
sense.
It doesn't. It's a fun, goofy watch, but it's not like a movie to take serious by any stretch of the imagination. Even Stephen King, like he doesn't.
Was that during the cocaine days for him?
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay.
Big time.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. And he was like, he admits he was totally in over his head. He did not like. They just came to him, just threw him a bunch of money, and said, "Direct this movie." He's like, "How? I'm a writer. I don't know anything about." No, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Keep going.
Yeah, we had that conversation. I think
think
on my
so,
first
yeah.
one about writers becoming directors in the '80s and how weird that was.
I really need to know where the start of that, because there had to have been like a writer that directed a movie that was a huge hit, that put that in everyone's head. You know, that's how like every comedian in the '90s had a sitcom, because Seinfeld and Roseanne. You know, well, if you're a stand-up comic, you must know how to do a sitcom. So here you go.
Right, because that's the same thing, same skill set.
Yeah, exactly.
Make people laugh.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I guess I should keep this thing going here a little bit. Still in the bees. This is a cool album. You guys will all agree this is a cool album.
Is it Boston?
I was kidding.
I have rules. No Boston.
That is,
That is
The
cool.
Blues Brothers.
yeah, that's a good
Look
one.
at those guys. There's the
That-
back.
Is that Briefcase of Blues?
The briefcase is there. But look at the personnel on this record, man. Like it's something else. You got Paul Shaffer. Where's he back here?
Yeah, with the hair. Yeah.
And they got their band side names on there. Schaefer's the Shiv Schaefer. Yeah. So this is in great shape too. Great shape. What else can we say? This is from 78. Yeah, briefcase full of blues. So yeah, Blues Brothers. Of course, they did shows. Were a bit of a touring band out on the West Coast. I don't know. Did they do many shows in New York, Kevin? Do you know?
No clue.
Sleeve.
I imagine they
Thank
would
you
have been
very
a
much.
hit in New York, because New York loved anyone from Saturday Night Live at that time.
Yeah, this is the best disc of the day here.
It looks clean.
Mm-hmm.
Means you haven't played it enough, Bill.
Wow. Let me tell you, guys. Now, there's not enough story to this album because it's so perfect looking. But otherwise, yeah. So, yeah, these guys would appear at the Fillmore West. They would open for the Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, whatever.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know that.
Flying Burrito Bros, they would share the same bill. There's lots of cool posters you can still get, which these guys are on the poster with those psychedelic bands. So
Yeah. When they were doing that, like Animal House wasn't a thing yet, you know, like that was really what launched Belushi.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did the movie, and that made them even more popular. But
mhm.
they were kind of like Tenacious D in a way,
Mhm.
you know, before Jack Black made it huge. Another good one. Soundtrack.
Does that one have a Rubber Biscuit?
Not on that one.
Peter Gunn theme.
That's a good
Give me
song.
some lovin'. This is the soundtrack, isn't it? Yeah, this is the actual soundtrack to the movie. So you got your Cab Calloway appearing, Ray Charles. It says Carrie Fisher is appearing. Here's the boys. Duck Dunn up there.
Matt Guitar Murphy.
That saxophone player. He's got it going on.
Lee.
Saxophone. This one's in really good shape too. What do you guys think on this one?
Oh, it's
Looks great.
Canadian release.
You haven't even opened that one yet. That's what I'm going to say.
Definitely.
Oh, there you go. All right, on.
These are all paper sleeves. There's no static liner on these. I know people don't like that.
Hey, it's better than nothing. Paper
Better than
sleeves are
plastic.
nothing.
Sweet Home Chicago gets a really big band on there, as it should.
Yeah, that's a big long jam.
Fun fact about that show or about that song: anytime you fly into Midway Airport on the south side of Chicago, in the luggage claim, that song is always playing.
Always?
Every time I've flown out of there and flown in there, it's always been playing.
The luggage guys must want to kill each other. Okay, well, I do have a surprise for you guys. We actually do have a caller coming on, so hold on to your butts. Here comes our caller. Caller, let us know who you are and where you're calling from.
Hello.
Oh, wow. It's not Chris Roberts.
No, it's not. It's the lesser half of Two Dorks. Of Dollar Dorks, yeah. Well, both, actually. I'm the lesser half of both those things. So
we got Derek.
If anybody knows, yeah.
How are you?
Go ahead. I'm good. I just saw you guys talking about vinyl and been meaning to jump in here and haven't yet till now.
All right.
Nice.
So do you have like, you've been collecting vinyl for a while or what?
I think my wife and I started collecting I started collecting actually years and years ago with like dance albums forever ago when I thought I could be a DJ. And then stopped for a long time. And then my wife and I just started collecting, what was it, like 8 years ago or so? Or was it more? No, it was when we were in the apartment. So it was like
Derek, is
10
your
years ago.
mic on that earbud? Because you're like...
Yeah, it is. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah,
You're rubbing your beard with the mic.
All I'm hearing is whisker.
I know. I kind of like it.
You
Very
would,
low.
right? Yeah, it was about over 10 years ago we started collecting and just looking for stuff as we can, usually garage sales and Kijiji. Yeah, I've got a couple here that I grabbed out just to take a look at or show you guys.
Is the lovely Cynthia there?
She's over here. But
Hi,
she's,
Cynthia.
She's hiding. Bill says hi.
All right, give us the goods, man.
All right. Well, this one is just funny because somebody was just talking about it.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So this one's seen better days. It's not. I don't think it's as good a condition as yours was. It says 1980 on the back here. We got the paper sleeve there. No idea if that's original or not. And yeah, I got this one from my uncle not long ago. He had a pretty good collection of vinyl, and I asked him if I could steal some, and he's like, "Yeah, I got lots more at home, so why not?" Yeah, he does a lot of thrifting and garage sales and buying and selling and stuff, so he has good collections of everything.
Wow,
So
that's
that
a
was
good one for free.
one of the ones I grabbed from him. Yeah, for free. I offered to pay him and he wouldn't let me, so. And then I'm going through these quick because I don't have a lot to say. I mean, I can't even tell you what songs are on it other than, title. Because I have not listened to most of these. There's a few that I listen to often, the next one being one of them. But other than that, there's not a lot I have to say about them. So this is the next one anyway.
Yeah.
CCR Chronicle. I think this one, actually, the second one has quite a bit of damage. No, that was what I was thinking of buying as a replacement. One of mine has a little bit of damage. It has a skip in it. And I was at local record store, Beat Goes On, and they had a copy brand new, but it looked like someone had cut a box and they sliced right across the back, and the second one had a slice right across the back of it, so I didn't pick it up, especially because the price was still like $15 or something. I was like, I already got it, so why bother? But anyway, it looks decent. I don't know how well you can see, but these are pretty good. I think there's one song on the second one that skips, I think. That's about it. But I don't know if you guys care about dates or not. But
Yeah, you took me to that Beat Goes On, didn't you?
yeah, that was the exact one. Yep.
Yeah, that's really good in there.
Yeah. They have the record store day stuff. This is 76 on the back. Again, I don't know if that's original or not, but I got it from a garage sale. I think I paid $3 for that. So
That's sweet.
yeah. All right, this next one I also got at a garage sale. I believe it's water damaged. Yeah, it's water damaged on the cover, but it is Styx, best of Styx, and the reason I'm showing it is because it's a nice little one. Yeah, I do like Styx, but this makes it specialer.
Definitely.
But yeah, water damage all across the bottom here.
Huh.
From the, I guess it was just, I think I paid $1 though, maybe $2. So I can't really complain about that.
Not at all.
So 77 on the back. And then this one again, I do like Trooper. Yeah, we actually saw them live at Canada Day.
Is that a Canada band?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if anybody knows them or not, but
No.
I figured Bill and Kevin will. But the reason I grabbed this one is because it's also another little special thing. So this is Thick as Thieves is the album, by the way. But I really like the cool ones. Also, this one I didn't even realize was colored vinyl until I was just going through them the other day after watching you guys. And then I was going through all mine to make sure that I had replacement sleeves in them because some of the paper sleeves are cut, like ripping.
How about that? Replacing your sleeves.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was going to ask you guys if you actually do that. What's that?
Who knew Trooper would have a colored vinyl release?
Right? Exactly. But I'm glad I got it.
That was a big
I was going to ask you guys about sleeves too. Like, you guys replacing your sleeves, outer and inner, or what?
Yeah,
I am.
for sure.
I do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Are you keeping the original paper one in there?
Yeah. Well, if it's just paper, I'll get rid of it. Like, who cares? But if it's got something printed on it, then I'll keep it.
Yeah. That makes sense. This one I kept just because it was recently replaced. I'm like, I have to throw it out, or it does make it harder to get them back in, right?
Yeah. Limited space in there, for sure.
I have sleeves inbound. They're coming. You guys are going to be blown away by these sleeves.
They should be premium. I see you sold like half your Nintendo collection there. So, Bill, it's premium money going into that PayPal account. So.
All you take is one sucker, right?
one buyer.
I lost all the value of my game collection in one foul swoop.
Oof.
Is that all you got for us, Derek?
That's all I got. Oh, actually, you know what? I had one more that I thought about as we were sitting here talking. My wife actually stumbled upon this at a garage sale, and then we found out that the woman's son was a DJ. So it's nothing fancy, and I just put it in a generic sleeve, but it's a lot easier to read straight up and down. But yeah, the Dog Father, Snoop Dogg. Yeah, it was. Actually, I think, it was in this generic sleeve. That's what it was. I didn't put it in this. Again, I think there's probably a mark on it somewhere that made it skip, but that's not bad considering her son was a DJ. And it could have been much worse, but I think we paid $2 for it again.
Is that the full record, or is that just like a single off of the LP?
It is the full record. There's 7 tracks on one side, 4 on the other. Seems low, but it's not like demos or repeats of the same thing.
Yeah, because a lot of those when I stumble across like hip hop records like that, it's a lot of like singles that have different mixes on them.
Yeah, so there are, on the one side, there's 4 songs that are about 4 minutes, and then the other side's 4 songs as well, 4 minutes. So I don't think it's a single or non-cut. They are different songs, not repeating over and over, or different mixes or anything like that. Yeah, I think that one said 92.
Derek sent me a picture earlier this week of 2 crates.
Yeah, they're right here.
Records. And Derek always sends me pictures of Kijiji stuff or Craigslist stuff here and there. He sent me 2 crates of. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Let's get it started. $10. How about 15? Then he's like, this is my personal collection. Oh, I don't got time for this.
Yeah. This is my wife's collection as well. So we got some of hers in here. Just trying to find something good to pull out of hers. But of course, they're not as easy to find as mine because mine are all alphabetical. Like, what the hell? No, hers aren't even in here. Are they? Yeah, there they are. Dirty Dancing. That's from a garage sale. We got City Lopper over here.
That's a good one.
Sale.
Good album.
What about this one? The Little Drummer Boy.
Okay.
Yeah, from Disneyland Record.
Nice.
Yeah.
We got quite a few of those. Interesting. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yeah, we got Moon River, more Dirty Dancing, and Barbie Christmas. I know this is what y'all wanted.
It does have a pretty nice little collection. They're all neatly organized in these milk crates. Look good. All with sleeve. Very nice.
Yeah.
Good work there.
Even hers get sleeves.
Yeah, good work. All right. So that was Derek from Dollar Dorks. He is the husband or the wife of Chris Roberts, who we normally get calling into this show. So it's exciting that we don't have the Chris Roberts, but we got the Derek today. So that's very fun stuff. When's next Dollar Dorks happening?
I have no idea. The next time Chris reminds me and asks, hey, when are we doing an episode?
Yeah. Get it going. These guys have a podcast, Dollar Dorks, where they talk about how to flip stuff, to create your own collection by selling bits of your collection. It's very interesting and educational, and it's got Chris Roberts, so you're going to hear lots of stories. So, good times. Anyways, thanks, Derek, for popping in. Appreciate it. All right. That's it. See how easy it is to get in on this show? All you got to do is click on the link, and you're in. You get to show off some records. Good times.
Derek called in from his church. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Good times. Okay. Thanks, Derek from Two Darks. That was fun. Geez, where was I? I think we're back to Jake.
I think we are.
All right.
Okay, so I'll start off on a face and name that most of you will know.
Oh yeah, Gary Moore.
Gary Moore, Lizzie alum. This is a different kind of record for him. Like I think he kind of became known as more of a blues guy, still got the blues and all that stuff. This is definitely more of like a rock record of the times. It's not my favorite work of his, but I think this is an original version from 1987. So it's got that 80s rock feel, a little more than I was expecting. But I basically bought it for one specific reason, and that is the song Over the Hills and Far Away. I just really love that song. I saw that it was on this release and decided to snag it.
Is that the cover of Led Zeppelin, Over the Hills and Far Away?
That's a good question. I don't. It's like the story of the guy who's the lover and they speak out at night. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I didn't think it was, but I'm not an expert on how all that falls back together. But it's a fun record. It doesn't really showcase his playing, or at least the playing that I enjoyed from him. But it is a generally fun listen. It's got that sort of Scottish-ish beat to it.
Well, he was a member of Thin Lizzy.
Yes, he was.
And he left Thin Lizzy, and he kind of says that they kind of forced him to do those kind of albums. Like, they were trying to find a
niche,
right, for him. And then he said, "Screw this," and they just went and did the blues.
And that's where we left him, or at least where I left him.
Mm-hmm.
Personally. So next one up, I'm reordering here mainly just because Bill brought up saxophone. So I have to bring out a record that has saxophone on it. And that is Rivers of Nile, Where Owls Know My Name. So this is a progressive, slightly technical death metal band, Rivers of Nile. They're from Reading, PA. This came out in 2018. And it is famously the Saxophone death metal album. Saxophone is, well, I won't say heavily featured. It is featured to the exact correct amount. It's so fun. Like, I made the argument the other day that there's nothing you can't add a saxophone to that isn't improved by doing so. Death metal included. We've got this nice sort of forest in black splatter. It is a double disc release. It is a bit of a mammoth. It runs a little, I think it's close to an hour. But these guys I had followed since sort of their beginnings. I was a big fan of their first two releases, and I was really stoked for what they were going to do next. And then this thing comes along and then just sort of blows me away. Specifically the song Subtle Change. It is just a masterclass of like taking these different sort of disparate styles of metal and weaving them together, and lots of atmosphere, keyboard, saxophone, sweet riffs, sweet leads, blast beats, melodic vocals, harsh vocals. It's just, I don't know. It's one of the, in my opinion, one of the watershed moments of metal for this decade, or I guess the previous decade at this point.
Did you get to see him on that tour?
I didn't get to see him on their initial tour, but I did get to see them live with a live saxophone player.
Oh, nice. Because I know that not every tour date had the saxophone player on it.
Right. Yeah, I saw them in a tiny club in Greensboro. There was maybe like 200 people there.
Nice.
They brought the house down. But yeah, it's just one of those things you just you would never expect it to work until it just magically does. And just cool guys, cool band. You got to talk to them after the show, bought merch from them, hung out with them. Just blue collar guys, great guys.
That cover is like mesmerizing to me too.
Oh, it's worth just soaking in. Like there's so many details, and like the concept behind the record. The phrase was just something that was just sort of floating around in one of the guitarists' mind for years, and then they decided to write a concept around it where this is sort of the narrative of the last human of sorts, who is sort of left on Earth by the gods to watch the Earth decay and record it. And that's what this is, the theme around the album. So they do good work. The last one that I have is by one of my favorite artists, and this is his biggest release, sort of his first real full LP, and that is Amigo the Devil. Are you guys familiar with Amigo the Devil?
I am not, no.
Okay. So I think all of you would like this, at least to varying degrees. This is folk, but it is slightly more, what's the right word? Abrasive in some aspects. Like he does a lot of songs about serial killers, doomed relationships. The subgenre is, there's a, if you want to call it that, called murder folk. So there's a lot of ballads of people dying and stuff. But this one, he gets really introspective. The song that really just blew me away when I heard it for the first time was called Cocaine and Abel. And it is just,
Oh, that's funny.
It's incredible. Like, it's incredible. The guy is, it's just one guy, at least on tour. He's got a full band backing here. But this came out in 2019. I don't know if you can tell, but like there's an embossing of just the word fine across that. About this at the show, which I'll mention briefly about the show. It's one of the best shows I've ever been to. The vinyl, again, kind of got that same splatter, actually. Got a nice image of a skull on the backside. His show was one of the most powerful things I've ever been a part of. It's just him and a guitar, and that's it. And maybe sometimes him and a banjo, because he plays both. And it's just him on stage behind a microphone with both of those. And he's got a song that he sort of closed the show out with, and it's called I Hope Your Husband Dies. And that's how he closed out the show. But like he walked off stage at this venue and walked away from the mic, the lights, and like the stage isn't huge. I mean, this place is pretty small. I would say maybe it would hold 300 people tops. But he walks over to the bar and then climbs up on the bar, stands on the bar with his guitar, just his voice, and it asks all of us to come and just surround the bar. And we all just sort of stand around the bar while he's up there with his guitar, belting it out. We all just sort of sing that song together with him to close out the show. just incredible performer. One of the nicest guys you'll ever frickin' meet. And just writes really interesting, different kind of songs. And it's another one of those bands that the metal community has sort of embraced, because he doesn't really fit really anywhere. But he's got some, some edge to him, I guess, in terms of lyrical content.
What's his name again?
The name of the band is Amigo the Devil. His name is Danny. Danny, I think it starts with a K, and I don't even know if I know how to pronounce it, but I think he's from Texas. He's written some just really great songs, and just in general, one of those guys I'm really happy to see have some success, because it's different, but it's really heartfelt, really genuine, and sometimes really scary. So I can get behind all those things.
I just put it on my to listen to list.
Yeah, buddy. You'll like it. I think you'll like it. It's very raw, but dark, also very dark. Don't expect light, fluffy stuff. There's people getting hit in the head with a VCR and people getting chopped up. It's weird.
And how did you find that guy?
I found him on one of those late night YouTube click holes, and basically started following him. He put out a few EPs, and then I followed his YouTube channel, and then he announced that, and the rest was history.
Well, that's neat. That's cool. I wrote that down. Check that out.
Yeah, let me know what you think. Listen to Cocaine and Abel. Like, that's, I think, his best song. And if you like that, branch out from there, because there's places you could start that would turn you off. So like getting that foundation will make you like him enough to try other stuff, in my opinion.
It amazes me too, these small performers, niche performers that can come out with, like, that was a gorgeous package you just showed.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. Oh, and I forgot to show, it did come with a lyric booklet, nice pictures. Yeah, got the skull there from the vinyl. But yeah, I mean, just incredible. He's got some videos called the Grotto Sessions, where he's just basically sitting in a grotto with a banjo singing. Check that out. It's really good.
Wow. Cool, man. Good show. Matt Bandy, you got to follow that up.
Okay. I got 2 exclusives, so.
Ooh.
All right. Still with the exclusives.
Oh, he means business.
Okay, so this first record here is a band I hadn't heard of until maybe 2 weeks ago. I had a friend who recommended this release, and upon hearing just the first riff of this record, I immediately went to Bandcamp and ordered it from them. And this is by a death metal band from Chicago that is called Molder. And the name of this record is called Vanished Cadavers. And I've been listening. This is what I've been listening to a bunch lately. Not the record, because I just opened it. But yeah. So if you ever order a record off of Bandcamp, you and it's been released, it's not a pre-order, you'll get an immediate download or streaming of the record you just bought. So yeah, this it was. So yeah, like I said, just for that first riff, I guess this is Rotted Life is the name of the distro that I got this from. I don't know if it's a record label or just a distribution from.
Do they do Fetid Zombie? Because that really looks like, I think I've seen Fetid Zombie on their stuff. I could be wrong about that.
Why don't you take a look at the list and see if you can read Fetid Zombie somewhere else?
Good point. Good point.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know, but they. Yeah, it looks like this is in here too. It's a death metal label and mail order. So it looks like Rotted Life is the name of the label and mail order. So they might be on there. This also looks like it came with a couple stickers of other bands here. A band called Coffin Rot.
I know Coffin Rot. Yeah.
Cryptic Brood, I believe. But yeah, so back to this record. I'm really, really picky when it comes to death metal. I don't listen to a ton of death metal.
Is that Ron Jeremy on the cover?
It looks like little Ron Jeremy, doesn't it? But so this is, as soon as the vocals kicked in, it is like it was immediate Obituary Worship. And Obituary is my all-time favorite death metal band. And that's one thing I like about Obituary. It's that the vocals are unique. They're not so guttural. So it's not like a Obituary ripoff, but it's just total paying homage. You can tell. And you got the band, the 3-piece band here.
Okay.
But yeah.
What's the name of the album again?
It is called Vanished Cadavers.
Vanished, okay.
Yeah.
Remembered cadavers, but I couldn't remember the leading word.
So yeah. And yeah, it's like mid-tempo kind of death metal. Like it's fast, but it's not full of blast beats. And that's kind of, the drumming is really good on this. And that's one thing that kind of gets, death metal for me gets kind of samey sometimes. And not a lot of variety. But this is, the riffs are really cool on this, and the drumming is top notch. So
sweet.
Yeah. Jake, I think you'd like that. I'd say the other guys check it out too, but
it's on my wish list now.
Nice. Okay, so the other exclusive here in the package still.
Are these from Bandcamp?
This one was from Bandcamp, yeah, but this one here was from a ordered directly from the record label. This is from Out of Season, which is a record label out of Portland, Maine, and they do mostly dungeon synth, like 90% dungeon synth and maybe like 10% black metal releases. They're mostly a cassette-based label, but lately they've been pressing some of their back catalog on vinyl, which I'm very happy for. So this is a release by a band called Feif, F-E-I-F. And so Feif are a dungeon synth band. I couldn't tell you anything about them. Usually dungeon synth is one guy or girl or whoever it is doing the music. But this collects their first and second output, which their second record is kind of considered a modern day masterpiece in the style of dungeon synth, and it's all instrumental. It's very you can picture like you're in a castle, and that's the music that you're hearing. Very medieval inspired. And Out of Season is great too, with all the little feelies and stuff they put in. They always put in little cards and stuff on upcoming releases, stickers, and just other little logo stuff that comes with it. They always usually put in a some sort of playing card or vintage playing card in with the stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what this is from. This looks like from a Terminator 2 checklist of cards. But yeah, this is not a gatefold. Looks like it's a little bit wider, but for both. So this is the first record here, which is what's odd about this is that look at all that.
Yeah, I was looking at that
open space there. I'm not gonna lie, I have listened to this already. I took it out and listened to it. So I made it seem like it was an illusion that I was actually cutting it open for the first time. I didn't do that. So I already knew about this. And I don't know why. I know that they had to have been able to put both, one album on one side. It's not usually the dungeon synth records or albums aren't very long. But yeah, I've never seen a record with that much just dead space on it.
That's an interesting choice.
It sounds amazing though.
Is it? I'm assuming it's 33 at that.
Yes. Yeah. It's yeah.
They could have made it a 45.
Yeah, I
That.
don't know why they did that. The Fief album 2 is a little bit. There's a little bit more. It's a little bit longer than the first release, so I don't know if they just couldn't fit. It would be like two sides and then one empty side. So I don't know if they stretched it out that way. So that's kind of weird. But yeah, this album is. I would recommend this to anybody. You don't have to be really a fan of dungeon synth to be into this band. If you like classical music or even just kind of that style, you'd be into it. Yeah, but this is really, really good stuff. Have you ever heard this band, Jake? Or
I have not. I'm actually a bit of a noob when it comes to dungeon synth. It usually appears alongside black metal when I encounter it. So You're Summoning or Departure Chandelier or something like that. So it's rare that I listen to standalone release like that.
Yeah, so I would.
I just haven't.
I'd highly recommend this. Real easy to listen to. It's something you can put on in the background, just kind of chill out, listen to it. I usually put it on when I'm cleaning or just hanging out.
Make a big cauldron of stew.
Yeah.
So just to fill me in, because I don't do a lot of this Bandcamp stuff, but when you order from is Bandcamp the distributor, or they just put you in touch with whoever sends you the stuff?
Well, usually it's like, so artists will have their music and merchandise available through Bandcamp. It's like a website where you can go to search out artists, and the music and the funds go directly to the artist. Bandcamp does take a cut of it, but it's their hosting. It's like the hosting site for their for independent musicians.
It's like iTunes, except you can actually buy physical media, and it's a lot more beneficial for the artist. There's a lower bar of entry, so like a lot more independent stuff can get on there. And
I guess I'm asking, like, who's responsible for packaging this stuff for you? Is it all uniform packaging, no matter who you buy, or is it shot in the dark?
So different labels will have, like, sometimes they'll have a storefront on Bandcamp. Sometimes, if the artist is independent, kind of like, the album I got this week, they'll have someone do the pressing, then that pressing will get shipped directly to that artist, and then that artist is responsible for dispersal directly.
Yeah. So, most of the stuff there is you're getting stuff directly from it's the artist that's sending it to you, unless it's specifically, because there are some labels that are specifically on Bandcamp. So you're ordering from the label, so it's the label. You're ordering from an artist, but it's coming directly from the label.
It's a marketplace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool.
I also got 2 patches with it too. This is from Thingdogrim, and this is from Fief. So
you got a vest for those ones?
I do have a Dungeon Synth vest that is a work in progress right now.
Of course you do.
Love it.
Not finished yet, so yeah.
My Dungeon Synth vest is a work in progress.
It's my winter. Actually, it's not a vest. It's a long sleeve. I'm keeping the sleeves on for this one. So
will
it's
you get kicked out of the community if they find out?
That's okay. It's okay to have sleeves. It's my winter jacket.
Yeah. Dungeons are cold and damp, so
they are.
That's true.
Need sleeves.
Need sleeves. All right. So, Kevin, what are we at now for you? Let's see.
We have moved into the 90s now, and we're ready for the resurgence, if you will. Their next big album. And I wonder where their career would be if it wasn't for the success of the Razor's Edge, because this has the big hit Thunderstruck on it. This really put them back on the map, not only sales wise but charts wise. Like, this album actually charted on top 40 hit, which was first time in a long time. This has tons of classics on it. You got your Thunderstruck, Money Talks, Rock Your Heart Out, Are You Ready was a big hit, Shot of Love. Got You by the Balls.
We finally got AC/DC playing at school dances because of this album.
Yeah, it was definitely the big. I remember going into grade 9 high school, and the only thing that people could talk about was the Razor's Edge and Ozzy's No More Tears album. They were just huge albums at the time. The one weird thing about this album is they do throw in a Christmas song in the middle. It's a novelty song. They AC/DC was, novelty songs are always part of their repertoire. You got your Big Balls and Crab City and Blue and that, but they were always like a sexual nature. But a Christmas track right in the middle. I always thought that one should be like maybe been at the end or something. But it's a pretty good album. It's got some really strong tracks. I think it's 12 songs. And I think if at the end, if they would have combined maybe these 3 into one, it would have been, a nice 10-song finale. But overall, it's a really solid album. And this is an original 1990 printing.
Ooh.
Yeah, which you'd think it would be worth more or worth something because, around that time they were having trouble.
Right.
Or the CDs had taken over. It was the major format, so they didn't usually print a lot of vinyl pressings at that time. But I don't know. This thing, I guess it sold a bajillion copies or something because it's not any more or less expensive than their other albums from the 80s.
A fun fact for me: that was the very first CD I ever heard was the Razor's Edge.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Because CDs were all the rage in 1990. So so that was the big hit for them, and they.
I was kind of resentful of that album too, because now you had all these kids who scoffed at the AC/DC music playing from my locker, and now they're suddenly all into AC/DC.
Yeah,
like, oh, okay.
Posers.
That's how it is, eh?
Posers. Okay. Posers. Well, you know what? In a couple of years, they'll be scoffing back at him because I think that was at the beginning of my grade 9 year. By the end of grade 9, it was Kurt Cobain. The girls at the beginning of the year wanted to hear the guys play Bon Jovi on the guitar. By the end of the year, they wanted to hear them play Kurt Cobain. He had taken over. Okay, so they followed up the Razor's Edge with a live album, AC/DC Live. This album was designed to curb stomp all the bootlegs that were out there. People were bootlegging this band like crazy because they had not put out a live album since 1978. I don't know if it was successful or not. This is it didn't get a vinyl pressing in the early 90s. So this is a 2003 issue. For some reason, they decided to cut off Brian Johnson there because, as you can see on the original CD, he's there. That's him right there. But when they put out this thing, they're like,
somewhat prophetic.
Crop him right off. But it's a nice looking album. You got Rosie there.
Yeah.
A lot of Rosie. And this is the double, of course. So it has like all. It's the full thing. This came out. There was 2 versions of it. There was a single CD version and the double version. I had the single CD version for some reason, but I got rid of it.
That was a huge release, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean this. It sold very well for them.
Yeah, I remember like every single one of my friends had that. Everybody.
Yeah, it was a pretty big thing at the time. And there was also a video release, which we will probably get to on a future episode. So yeah, they went all out with this. But like I said, it was their first live album since '78. And the cool thing is that for the music video for Money Talks, in the music video they would throw down dollar bills on the crowds, on the crowd in the video. And for some shows during the Razor's Edge tour, when they played Money Talks, they would throw those dollar bills out. And for the CD release, they actually threw in one of those dollar bills.
Oh, funny.
So if you're a real collector, you still have your dollar bill. If you get a double AC/DC live album, if you get this and it doesn't have this, it's not complete. That makes it complete in there.
I had that at one time.
Yeah, I
God knows where it ended up.
Not a real collector. Not a real collector.
Well, no, my discs, because they were in the car with me, and so I had all my discs in the old car folio business, right?
That's bad news. I'll tell you one thing about the CDs. For some reason, I don't know if the camera will pick this up. I don't know. I don't know if you can. Let me see if I can try to get it in there. Nah, it's not showing up. Anyways, there's a nice big smudge over their live track of Let There Be Rock, and that track they just jam on the chords for like a good solid 5 minutes, because when you watch the show, Angus is actually doing a bunch of stuff in the back where he's getting into position because they're going to raise him up in the middle of the crowd in this on this big I don't know thing. They elevate him and he does this thing. But while he's doing that, the band is just jamming. They're just jamming with the chords. It's just the core group, and they're just, the rhythm section. And when I was learning how to play guitar, I always wanted to play that rhythm section, and just jam to and play, try to learn the chords and then maybe try to solo over it or whatever. But there was a smudge right there, like a defect right there. And every time it would get to that part, it would just skip. I'm like, God damn. So now I got the vinyl, I can just rewind the vinyl and play it on down.
There you go.
Anyways, I got one more from the 90s. Can I just get to the last album from the 90s and then I can put that to rest? I know we're running long here. If I can find it. Okay, so yeah, AC/DC, they didn't put out anything like that. That album came out in 1990. I was in college and I was like the only AC/DC fan because everybody was like, if you were cool, you were into Nirvana, you were into Pearl Jam, you were into Stone Temple Pilots, maybe Alice in Chains, but I was the dork that was still into AC/DC. And man, when this album came out in 1995, it was like, this was it. This was going to be the album to bring them back. They came out with Ball Breaker. And well, it was a little disappointing. It's an okay album. It was tricky to follow up the Razor's Edge for them because they were always considered to be a metal band in the 80s. They always thought of themselves as a rock band. And the Razor's Edge comes out and has that like metallic sound, and it just fit in with all that crowd and that. And then it became passé, So when they came out with this one, they wanted to like go back to their roots, if you will, and do a more classic sounding album. But they still do fall into the trap of trying to recreate the Razor's Edge. Like there's a song on here called Hail Caesar that sounds a lot like, the Thunderstruck in a way. It's like a big, rock and anthem song. But it's okay for the most part. I never liked the cover. It always like Angus kind of looks very photoshopped in there, I don't know, just kind of cheesy, but it's not terrible. It's not a bad album. It's just a one that it's kind of missing some direction. And this was produced by Rick Rubin, who that was exciting news, right? Because Rick Rubin was going to be coming on. And he did all that stuff with Johnny Cash. And I believe he did Aerosmith at the time. I think he did, was it Get a Grip? Or no, that was Bruce Fairbairn. There was something, it was exciting that, they were going to get like this solid producer to produce this album. But throughout the entire process of them making this album, Rick Rubin was like obsessed with another album that he was working on with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And so like his attention was just focused on there. And he would come in with AC. Yeah, you guys are sounding good. You guys sound fast. And then he'd go back and just try to deal more with Red Hot Chili Peppers. So it was a little bit too fail.
That's too bad because that guy's made some a part of really good records.
Yeah.
And I had no idea about that. I had no idea.
Let's see what you learn here. Now, I will just, if I can, just one more thing before we move on from Ball Breaker. I do have my CD here, my original CD from back in the day. And the one thing that the CD has over the vinyl, and even the reissues of this doesn't have this, is like this nice, like they put all the lyrics. Like, this is the third album with the lyrics, but they kind of made it in a comic book style.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. And the whole, like, they're not known for doing this kind of stuff, you know, like,
Right.
not, like, and the one time they did it, and this is the only, they just printed this one time, and you know, none of the other, like, there is some of that artwork on the vinyl sleeve, but it doesn't have that same look of the
Right.
comic book thing, you know. They're just kind of there, and you're like, what does that mean? Why is that there, you know? Anyways, there you go. So we're
That's
done
the
with the 90s.
It had the big track for Last Action Hero on it, didn't it? Or
No,
was
it
that
didn't.
a different album?
No, that was
I think.
you're thinking of Big Gun.
Oh.
That just came out on the soundtrack for Last Action Hero, and then eventually backtracks. But
I thought it was
yeah.
on that album.
It
I
is
never
on-
got that album personally.
The one really good song on this album is Ball Breaker. It's the very last one. That one is rocking, but the rest of it is just okay.
All right. Well, with that, geez, as Kevin said, we have gone long. We are past the 2-hour mark. This is it's good because that means this series will never end because I only showed like this many records. Ridiculous. Wow. I hope you guys got lots more to bring us next time because we got a long ways to go. I can give you my preview for next week. And this is interesting because, you know, Matt Bandy was waxing poetic about it.
I already know what it is. I just the corner end, I know what it is. I love that album artwork. It's so good.
Oh
Yeah.
I got that too.
So maybe I'll have to listen to it this week. That'll be my homework.
There you
Finally
go.
listen to it.
It's a
this
good
week.
one. It's a good one.
So,
Embrace
yeah.
the Dio.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me on episode 10 of the Vinyl Collection. It's been a peach as normal. It's absolute pleasure to have you guys on there. I feel privileged that you guys will come on every week. I very much appreciate it. Thank you very much. Humbly
Thank
say
you.
that.
Enjoy it.
Thanks for having us, Bill.
It's the greatest. Love it. And, you know, other people could be watching, you know, shows about their cassette collection or something. I don't know, but this is the vinyl collection. This is the goods. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Lots more fun stuff coming on this channel. I just put out a collection video, a Dylan collection video. We're involved 30 years of collecting CDs and books and DVDs from the man. You get to see what that's like. It's in 2 parts. Part 2 just came out. And as well, you'll find the podcast on here, STC Pod. That happens at least once a week. It's live on here as well. You can pop on and watch that happen for the live chat. And what else? Lots of good stuff. You can follow my vinyl pundits on their projects. First of all, Kevin Buried on Mars, as I said before, massive, huge member of the Blu-ray collection community. Yeah. You can find him on YouTube, Buried on Mars. He's got the Retro Fandango Podcast. Get that on your podcasts. And he's pretty fast and jazzy on Twitter as well. Look for him there. Buried underscore something.
Mars. _Mars, yes.
Check him out over there. And then got Jake from Polykill Podcast, the biggest podcast, the most awarded podcast in the Cartridge Club. Polykill Podcast.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, what can we say about you guys? It's big time. It's the big time, Polykill.
It's a network over there.
It's a network.
Yeah, we just have channels. You guys are a network.
Yeah.
It's a brand.
Wheeling and dealing. Yeah.
I swear I was driving to work the other day and the transport truck passed me and all on the side of the trailer was Polykill the brand. So everyone's got to watch out for that. Thanks, Jake, for joining us. Hope to see you next week.
Pleasure to be here.
And finally, Matt Bandy. You can find him all over the place. He's on Twitter and Instagram, and He's appeared on many Cartridge Club podcasts. Is there anything you want to hint to us about what's coming next for you?
I'll probably be here next week.
Excellent. That's good. I will.
You don't
take
sound
that.
too confident.
I'll be here next week.
There you go.
Yes.
Project it.
We'll have much Big Bandy next week. And myself, you can follow me on Twitter at STCPod. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button here. Also on Instagram, and check that out too if you want. I don't care. Go check it out. There's fun stuff. Thanks everyone for joining us next week. Episode 11. I'm still in the B's. And then we get down the A's. And then we got the goods coming after that, the miscellaneous shelves, the new stuff, the stuff that's been played and not put away. So there's plenty of stuff still to come. Stay tuned for more on this channel. Hit the subscribe button. All right. See y'all later. Bye. See ya.